So if they didn't have Emeka Egbuka this season, and he is on pace to catch about 75 passes for over 1,200 yards and score 11 touchdowns. That's the type of caliber season he's had as a rookie. Should be the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. If they didn't have him, they would probably be 3-6 rather than 6-3.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. I'm Mike Catalana. As always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Dan and Jenna with a Veteran Day off. They will be joining me Thursday night. We will be at McGregor's in Gates. Come see us 5 to 7. We're doing a meet and greet. Then we're doing the podcast live from 7 to 8. So the Buffalo Plus train keeps rolling along as we stay on the road, third straight week. So we will be there Thursday night, getting you ready for the Bills taking on the BUCS. We are joining you from the Connors and Ferris podcast studio. We're happy you're with us. And as always, we love to talk to reporters who cover the team that the Bills are facing this week. And I'd like to welcome in our guest this week in the What They're Saying segment. His name is Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. He's covered the Tampa Bay Bucks for 3 decades. Scott, welcome to Buffalo Plus.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Mike.
Yeah, this will be fun to talk about because I'm looking at things. I'm looking at numbers. Here we are past the halfway point.
Yeah.
Bucks are 6-3. Bills happen to be 6-3.
That's right.
Both coming off losses. Bills fans were rooting like heck for your team this week against the Patriots. Tell me where the Bucks are now. I know we're going to talk about the injuries that have kept some guys out, the up and down, the Baker making all the big plays early. Where would you say 9 games in the Bucks team is right now?
I think they're kind of overachieving a little bit right now, right? I mean, I had this team pegged for 11 wins this season, which has been one more from a year ago. They've added more talent to this team through the draft and even in free agency a little bit. But you're right. The injuries have really just wrecked this team. Yet somehow they're 6-3. And I think part of that was the Mayfield magic at the beginning of the season when he wasn't so banged up. He was scrambling for first downs, picking up first downs on 4th and 10 situations, 3rd and 15. He'd run for 16 yards. Those types of plays would extend drives. And of course, we saw him connect with Emeka Egbuka at the beginning of the season for some of those late game touchdowns that got Tampa Bay off to a really good start. But the injuries have set in. At the same time, you look at who this team has lost to. A 7-2 Eagles team that's atop the NFC East, the defending Super Bowl champions. They lost a tough game on Monday Night Football up in Detroit against the 6-3 Lions team that probably will win that division when it's all said and done. Then, of course, on Sunday, losing to the Patriots, doing the Bills no favors, unfortunately. But this is an 8-2 Patriots team that we have to say is for real. They've got a well-coached team that plays hard on defense, a quarterback that's hot right now in Drake May. I look at the Patriots as kind of like last year's Washington Commanders. Veteran head coach comes in, makes an instant impact, takes a young quarterback, gets them ready. They're playing maybe a little bit above their ability, but yet they're the hot team right now. So I think right now, even though they did lose and they face a tough stretch here with a game at Buffalo and then another game at LA against the Rams on Sunday night, this is a little bit of a dangerous stretch for the Buccaneers because they would like to at least split these 2 road games and not start an 0-3 slide.
Yeah, the Bills are getting their fill of the NFC South. They've had an odd couple of games. I mean, they played Atlanta, and they made the Falcons look like, the 1990s 49ers moving up and down the field for half that game. And we had already seen that, that team lost 30-0 to Carolina.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are they seeing here? So they play lousy. In the second game, they lose 2 games in a row. Then they go blow out Carolina, and we've seen Carolina win. Heck, the Saints stayed in the game with the Bills the entire time. But I still look at the Bucs and say, when all's said and done, this team should win another division, right?
Should. Yeah, they should. And that's really kind of been the Bucs' claim to fame, right? Ever since Tom Brady got here, they didn't win the South, believe it or not, in the Super Bowl season in 2020, but they did beat Drew Brees and the Saints in New Orleans to go on to win the Super Bowl that year. But then after that, it's been nothing but division championships for this team. And Todd Bowles took over for Bruce Arians in 2022. And even though the Bucs were 8-9 that year, Tom Brady's last year, they still won the division, got into the playoffs, and they've done that the last couple of years. But Todd Bowles, while he's found success winning the division and has improved in each of these last years, 8 wins in 2022, and 9 wins in the next season, and then 10 wins last year, success in the postseason has really eluded him and this Buccaneer team. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build a tougher, better team that can go further in the playoffs this year and not just settle for winning the division. But it's going to be a challenge because of these injuries.
I find myself rooting for Baker. What happened in Cleveland, right? And then he bounced around there a little bit. He's replacing Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at it that way, the skill he had coming out when he was the number 1 pick the year Josh Allen was picked in the first round.
That's right.
What has it been like to see Baker, to me, evolve from, hey, a guy who's showing he can bounce back and make some starts, to a guy who's been lethal, it seems, late game situations, also a leader. And honestly, I find him to be certainly top 10, if not higher, of quarterbacks in the NFL with the way he's played and the toughness that he's shown for your team.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. He's the engine of this offense and the heartbeat of this team. Where Baker goes, the Bucs will follow, and he'll go. I should say, the Buccaneers will go as far as he takes them. And this year, it's been a different type of Baker Mayfield. Last year was a little bit more of a gunslinger approach. He had 41 touchdowns, which was second only to Tom Brady in terms of single season touchdowns in Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
but he had 16 interceptions, which was tied for the league lead with Kirk Cousins. And so you kind of got the best of Baker and the worst of Baker at times during that season. And I think that's why they capped out at 10 wins. But they have a chance to go further this year because Tampa Bay is really getting the job done. They're +8 in the turnover margin. Last year, they were -6. They were the only team in the postseason that had a minus in front of that number in the turnover category. And that's why they were bounced in the first round of the playoffs. They lost the turnover battle to Washington in the wild card game, 1-0. That was enough to have them lose that game. But Baker Mayfield this year, not as dramatic in terms of the number of touchdowns he's putting on the board as of yet. He's got 16. So he's behind last year's pace. But more importantly, only 2 interceptions this year. So that's been a huge difference for him. For a guy that literally got humbled in the span of 1 calendar year, literally going from the face of a franchise in Cleveland to being an actual journeyman quarterback in just 1 calendar year, going from the Browns to the Panthers to the Rams to the Buccaneers. And he has just settled in and resurrected his career here in Tampa Bay, despite having 3 different offensive coordinators here in Tampa.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about the injuries in a second, but you got to tell me about your rookie wide receiver, because it just seems like some guys step in and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for that in Buffalo. The wide receiver talk is nonstop. And I know he's a highly drafted player from a big time program, but tell me what he's been like.
Emeka Egbuka has been a pro since day one, right? I mean, and it shouldn't come as a surprise because you look and he's actually the leading receiver of all time at The Ohio State University. And look at the receivers from Terry McLaurin to Garrett Wilson, to Jackson Smith and Jigba that they have put into the NFL. I mean, even going back to the Chris Carter days, right? I mean, there's been just a litany of fantastic receivers coming from that Buckeyes program. And he's the top one statistically speaking. Yet he was never really that guy that just completely wowed you, right? With the dramatic catches, and he didn't have the blazing speed. He just ran the routes, got open, produced yards, and scored touchdowns. That's all he did. But it was good enough to get him as a first-round draft pick, and it was kind of a sneaky first-round draft pick for the Buccaneers. A lot of people, myself included, weren't necessarily thinking wide receiver in the first round, but thank goodness they did, because this year they've only had Mike Evans for about 3 games and Chris Godwin for only 2. So if they didn't have Emeka Egbuka this season, and he is on pace to catch about 75 passes for over 1,200 yards and score 11 touchdowns, that's the type of caliber season he's had as a rookie. Should be the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. If they didn't have him, they would probably be 3-6 rather than 6-3. He is the best rookie wide receiver that I've ever seen in my 30 years of covering the Buccaneers. That includes Mike Evans in 2014, and that includes Chris Godwin in 2017.
Ugh, you are going to be. I can just see the comments from Bills fans looking at a team that has Mike Evans and Godwin, and they draft a rookie wide receiver high
Yeah,
because it has been nonstop talk here about the Bills' lack of investing in early rounds
yeah,
at the wide receiver position because it's something. You mentioned Mike Evans. I mean, I know this kid has been great, but man, to not have
yeah,
Mike Evans on the field in all the 1,000-yard seasons and the big catches and everything.
yeah.
What's that been like, and what's the prognosis for Evans?
It's been hard because they lost him for a couple of games, 3 games due to a hamstring injury. Then he comes back on Monday night and breaks his clavicle, right? That's gonna
Yeah,
cost him probably the rest of the regular season. There's a chance he comes back maybe week 17, week 18, depending on how it heals. But more than likely, it might be the playoffs, right? Deeper in January. But they need him back. There's no doubt about it. At the same time, Emeka Ibuka, starting in week 1 when he caught that game-winning touchdown pass from Baker Mayfield with like 59 seconds left to beat the Falcons in Atlanta, he had 2 touchdowns in his first game. We didn't see that from Mike Evans. We didn't see that from Chris Godwin. He's a pro. And it really is not a surprise because this is at age 32 the best training camp Mike Evans has ever had. Now he didn't play, all of the reps out there, but when he was out there, he was unguardable and he caught touchdowns. Got open, caught touchdowns. The second best player in training camp of any position was Emeka Ibuka. And so this was not really a surprise to us down here covering this guy from the rookie minicamp on. He just looked like he fit in with Mike and Chris.
yeah,
And he's been as good as advertised. But if they can get Mike back at some point, it only helps this offense. Tez Johnson has really been a surprise too. The Oregon receiver they
yeah,
drafted in the 7th round. He's kind of been that number 2 in the 1-2 punch with Emeka Ibuka. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games, including 2 against the Patriots on Sunday. So he's a sneaky wide receiver, 5'10", 160 pounds, but he kind of slithers his way open. He's got sneaky speed. It's been enough so far for Baker Mayfield.
yeah. Viewers of Buffalo Plus, do not blame Scott for this. He's just telling you what they do. A 7th-round pick at receiver is making plays. Number 1 pick, maybe offensive rookie of the year. I'm only bringing it up because like I said, it has been nonstop here. Tell me about Cade Otton, the tight end. I mean, I
Yeah.
see numbers. Where is he on their pecking order, and has that increased with the other guys being out with the injuries?
There's no doubt he's the steady Eddie. He's that security blanket, that safety net that Baker Mayfield likes to throw the ball to on 3rd downs, sometimes just to start drives off, get Cade going. He won't wow you. He's not like Dalton Kincaid. He's more like say the Dawson Knox in terms of just gets open, makes plays, not terribly flashy, good in the red zone. He has a little bit of a clutch gene where, you know, 2 or 3 times a year, he's going to catch that game-winning or game-tying touchdown that's going to make all the world of difference. And he's a good blocker. He's just kind of an underrated player. He's never going to be a Pro Bowl guy, but he's kind of a glue guy for this offense. And yeah, without Mike and Chris and also Bucky Irving, having mentioned him,
Yeah,
he's hardly played this year. He has moved up in the pecking order, and that was kind of the role he took on last year when the BUCS didn't have Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, both of those players injured in a Monday night game against the Ravens. It ended Chris's season. Mike missed 3 games, but Cade Otton stepped up and produced a 100-yard game against the Ravens and also had a couple of touchdowns against Kansas City in a Monday night game. So he's just kind of that guy that you can take off the shelf and plug him in, and he'll produce for you. And then when you're kind of more back to full strength on offense, you just put him back on the shelf as a receiver, and who's waiting for his next opportunity. But he will play a big role in Sunday's game for sure. He certainly did on Sunday against the Patriots.
yeah. I was going to ask you about Bucky Irving because the Bills have struggled against the run, a little bit better for a couple of games, and then
Yeah.
they got gashed pretty good, especially late in the game with Achan from the Dolphins. I'm mentioning all these wide receivers out. If Irving looks like he's not going to play,
Correct.
that's to that has obviously impacted the run game. Where are they in the run game with the Bucks now? And how much do they miss him? Obviously, him being out most of the year.
Yeah, where they really miss him is the explosive runs. He just had that make you miss quality, and he was able to rip off 20, 30, 50-yard runs last year, and that propelled him to rush for 1,155 yards last year and kind of a breakout performance. Again, you didn't expect that from a fourth-round draft pick, but kind of wrested that starting job away from Rachaad White last year and just took off. And they don't have the big play capability this year in the running game. Part of that has been with injuries along the offensive line. And, for a minute, they had 4 out of their 5 starting offensive line back. And then on the extra point after their opening touchdown against the Patriots, left guard Ben Bredesen gets hurt on the extra point. And now he's out. So now you're back down to 3 out of the 5 offensive linemen. The Bucs will have 2 reserve guards in the game. Dan Feeney at right guard for Cody Malk, who's out for the year. And then they'll have Mike Jordan at left guard. He's in for Ben Bredesen. But they had Luke Gedeke come back. He's kind of the enforcer along the offensive line. They're highly paid right tackle. And he made a world of difference. The Patriots, their run defense is no joke. They were first in the league coming in, 75.3 yards per game allowed. Yet Tampa Bay was able to rush for 113 yards and 5.4 yards per carry with not even a single yard from Baker Mayfield scrambling. So Rachaad White and Sean Tucker, who was a star at Syracuse, right? He actually became the first running back this year to rush for 50 yards or more against the Patriots. And that stopped an NFL record because they had done that for, I guess, all 9 games heading into Sunday. So Sean Tucker had an 18-yard run. That was the longest run of any Bucs running back this year. And we hope to see a little bit more of Sean Tucker because he has speed and explosiveness that Rachaad White doesn't have. He's not the make-you-miss guy that Bucky Irving is or the tough runner, but he's got some breakaway speed. And, he's not James Cook by any means, but he could be a factor on Sunday. And Tampa Bay is going to need that 1-2 punch of Sean Tucker and Rachaad White to get at least 100 yards on the ground against the Bills to take some of that pressure off Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Last thing on the offense, you mentioned it with the Baker when he runs. Again, I find them highly entertaining when he runs.
Yeah.
He's in the middle of the chaos, and he somehow finds his way. He's athletic. He's just he's not Josh Allen type. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he'll make you pay at times, right? Running the ball.
He's effective. That's the only way you can say it. It's heart, hustle, grit. It's all of those things that you can't measure at the combine, right? You can do the 40-yard dash, you can do the vertical, you can do all those things, but you can't measure the heart, the grit, the determination, the hustle of a player like Baker Mayfield. He gets the job done, but he has been banged up. He's got a knee injury he's been dealing with for the better part of the season. He's got an oblique injury that has caused a couple of his passes to be errant and awry. And we have not seen him scramble in each of the last 3 games. Now, he's averaging 7.2 yards per carry this year, but has not had a single rushing yard since the Lions game. The Lions did a really good job of spying him, so he wasn't really able to escape the pocket. Same with the Saints. We saw that a little bit with the Patriots, too. I think part of this is Baker's banged up, and he's choosing not to run. But at the same time, there have not been those clear alleys, those escape lanes. Teams have been rushing him with better pass rush lane discipline. And I think that's kind of bottled him up in the pocket. But yeah, when healthy and when there is that green grass, he will take it, and usually for a first down.
Go to the defensive side of the ball. So I was keeping an eye on the game, and I see, Diggs made the big catch on 4th down, but they almost stopped him. I would say Patriots almost got stopped at the goal line. They were right before the half. Then you got the interception another time before the half, but got hammered by big plays, right? 3 massive plays, 72 yards, 54 yards, 69 yards for the Henderson run. Is that indicative of the Bucs defense, or was that a surprise to see on Sunday?
A little bit of a surprise, but you could go back to that Lions game, right? And they allowed Jahmyr Gibbs to have a huge breakaway run. Go back to the season opener. They allowed a swing pass from Bijan Robinson to go 50 yards for a touchdown. So there have been a play or two here or there where this Bucs defense is just broken down, not been in their gap, missed a tackle, taken a poor angle, and it's cost them. And I think the Bucs defense played pretty well against the Patriots outside of those 3 plays. The problem is those 3 plays turned into 21 points. Those are automatic touchdowns, right? You're not even giving your red zone defense a chance. And as you mentioned, what allowed the Bucs to get back in that game was on 3rd and goal at the 2-yard line. Tyke Smith, who's been their best defender, comes up with an end zone interception, right? So if you give your red zone defense a chance, it has an opportunity to come up with the play. And as you mentioned, that Stephon Diggs touchdown came on 4th and goal after 3 stops at the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
But, perfect throw, perfect catch beats perfect coverage every time. And that's what happened on that play. But that's what Todd Bowles wants to see this defense eliminate, is those big explosive plays. And, they're trying to work Benjamin Morrison, their 2nd-round pick out of Notre Dame, the cornerback, into this mix because he's going to be replacing Jamel Dean next year. Dean's going to hit free agency at age 29. The problem is, whenever he comes in the game, he's the rookie, and he's the guy that gets targeted. He was targeted 4 times in that Patriots game. Gave up a catch every single time, including that 72-yard touchdown you're talking about. Plus, he also got flagged for defensive pass interference. So whenever you see 21 in the game, it's just an alert to offensive coordinators and quarterbacks. Go after the rookie. And quite honestly, I think Todd Bowles is making a big mistake by taking out Jamel Dean, of all people, who's leading this team in interceptions with 3, forced 2 fumbles, has a sack. He's having a Pro Bowl season. He's taking him off just to get the rookie some reps. And it's kind of madness, and it certainly caught up to them on Sunday against the Patriots.
I see Antoine Winfield Jr., of course. I've done this for a while. I covered his dad when he played with the Bills. Where is he physically, too? Where has Winfield been, and how is he playing?
A lot better than last year. Last year was just kind of an aberration. He had that all-pro season, 120-plus tackles, 6 forced fumbles, led the league, 6 sacks, 3 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries. He was Superman on this Bucs defense 2 years ago. And then he was Clark Kent last year. He just got hurt his foot, missed a couple games. When he came back, he hurt his knee. Just the splash plays weren't there. He wasn't able to find that cape that he had. But you know what? He's got it back this year. He's not having that sensational season that he had in 2023 that made him the highest paid safety in the league. But he's still kind of super Antoine, right? He's making plays. We see the sacks, the forced fumbles, the fumble recoveries, the interceptions. He's still making splash plays. And I think that even if he kind of reverts back to his median, his average, you're looking at a guy that's going to get 3 to 4 sacks a season, probably pick off 2 passes and force about 2 or 3 fumbles. And so far, he's kind of on that pace. He and Tyke Smith, who really has had the better season this year at the safety position. Tyke's got a couple sacks, had that interception. He's the leading tackler. That's a nice 1-2 punch for Todd Bowles because both of those guys are interchangeable. He can use either one as the single high safety and then use the other one down in the box to blitz, to cover a tight end, to get those interceptions off, short intermediate passes when the quarterback is pressured with Todd Bowles' exotic blitz packages. So right now he's got a secondary full of playmakers, and Winfield's certainly one of them.
And we always talk about some of the names, the big names, big guy, Vita Vea. I know it's not numbers with a guy like that. It's his impact. Yeah. What have you seen this year in his impact in the middle of that line?
He is what you call like a force multiplier. He just makes everybody better around him, right? With his pushing of the pocket. It's disruptive in the running game. It's disruptive in the passing game. He has maybe got only a couple sacks this year, but he's created sacks for others by just doing his job. At times he will engulf the double team. He'll invite that double team, and why not? He's 350 pounds. You got to have 2 guys on him. And when that happens, you're going to have a free defender coming in on a blitz or in a gap fit in the run game. So he is just playing at another Pro Bowl level. Again, it's never going to be a statistical wonder when it's Vita Vea. He doesn't win that way. But what he will do is he will put offensive linemen on their back. It's kind of that reverse pancake, right? And he will collapse pockets, and that's what he does exceptionally well. And he's got pretty sneaky athleticism too for a big guy. Don't be surprised if he even chases down Josh Allen, if he's within striking distance, because he's got some short area quickness. Now, he was a running back in college. He's not a running back at this level, but yeah, he's not going to win a foot race with Josh Allen, past about 5 yards. But if he's trying to chase Josh Allen around in the backfield, he's got enough, speed and acceleration to get there.
He was a running back?
He was a running back in high school, yes, and then
That's
went to
wild.
college as a linebacker, and then he grew into a nose tackle, and of course, he's been a Pro
Yeah.
Bowler.
Well, I'll tell you this, in terms of the plan defenses have found, it's kind of wild when you have Josh Allen as the quarterback,
Yeah.
but the Bills run the ball on first down more than any team in the league.
Yep.
They're 32nd in passing the ball on first down. And the plan has been, again, this is why people are here are pushing back. Stop James Cook
Yep.
and blitz Josh Allen and try to
That's right.
chase him around. Do the Bucks fit well defensively with what Todd Bowles likes to do?
Absolutely. Todd Bowles will blitz, and he'll blitz a lot on first down for that reason. And people think of blitz, it's a passing attack. It's really an attack towards the run or the pass, because if you're going to run the ball and you're sending an extra defender at the line of scrimmage, you're going to have a better chance of stopping the run.
Mhm.
And then if it's a play action pass or Josh Allen decides to throw on first down, then you got another defender coming right at him. So Todd Bowles will blitz a lot on first down to try to win first down and get opposing teams into third and long. Where the Bucs have had some problems, though, is just some simple run fits. And we've seen that. And we've seen the ability, for James Cook to break off long gains, break off long touchdowns, 7 touchdowns this year. So I totally agree. That is you're probably sitting in on Todd Bowles' meetings via Zoom or something, because he has got to make sure his defense stops the run, especially after Travion Henderson just went off on
Yeah.
2 massive runs. That certainly has the Bucs defense attention. And I think that's going to be the game plan, is to try to win first down, do whatever you can to bottle up James Cook. The problem, though, where the Buccaneers have really been susceptible, and it really hasn't shown up in the last couple of games, is defending the running back coming out of the backfield, right? Texas routes, swing passes, wheel routes down the sidelines. Cook has that ability, and that's where he's super dangerous. And Servancia Dennis, Levante David are not fleet of foot. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they try to corral him in the passing game. James Cook might be stifled, might be held to 50 yards on the ground, but he might have 120 yards in the day with 70 yards through the pass. We saw that happen with Bijan Robinson this year. We've seen that happen with Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley. There have been some very fast athletic backs that have gotten the better of the Buccaneers as receivers, not just as runners.
That's another thing going on here. Getting James Cook more involved in the pass game. Made a big play in the Baltimore game, made another one in the Kansas City game. He's not in on third down all that often, which has been a frustration with fans. Now, they do have Ty Johnson in the backfield, who's made big plays in the pass game for them in the past. That's been lost a little bit with the Bills so far this year. Ray Davis had a touchdown on another pass. I think they would like to get the ball to Cook more. It just hasn't worked out. And it looks, it's Dalton Kincaid is out. He's week to week now with the hamstring that he had. So I think they're going to change some stuff up. But yeah, this would be the week for the Bills if they want to get that passing game going to the backs. I would think that could be a good matchup for them. So, Scott, this has been great. This is really a great insight into what's going on with the Bucs. As always, we let people know where they can find you, what the content is, and where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find us on social media at Pewter Reports on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We have our Pewter Reports Bills versus Bucs podcast, our preview podcast, coming up on Wednesday on Pewter Report TV. That's our YouTube channel. You can check that out. It'll be live at 4 o'clock and archived after that, Eastern time, 4 o'clock. And, of course, you can find out all about the Bucs-Bills matchup from Tampa Bay's perspective on our website, pewterreport.com. I'll have my SR's Pick 6 preview of the Bills and the Bucs on Wednesday morning.
This is great stuff. Once again, thanks. We look forward to the game on Sunday and see how these 2 6-3 teams do going the rest of the way. So thanks very much. Yeah, thanks very much to our guest. Absolutely. Scott Reynolds, who knows what he's talking about with the Tampa Bay Bucs. He's been around this team, giving you great insight as to what's going to go on Sunday. All right. Once again, I want to remind you, we will be at McGregor's in Gates. That comes up on Thursday. So stop by to see us as we do the podcast. We are here for right now in the Connors and Ferris studio, and we're happy to be here with you, but we'll be on location coming up on Thursday. That's going to do it for our entire team. For Dan Fates and Jenna Cottrell, I'm Mike Catalana. As always, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Buffalo Plus.